In this video, I thought I'd revisit a diving trip from last year, and by all accounts this trip was a bit of a flop, hence why I've sat on this footage for so long. But with a coastline as good as this, I simply had to make a video. This weekend we're going to be exploring the western edge of Pembrokeshire, and our first location is Abereiddy Bay. Conditions today were cloudy and pretty windy in some areas, but Abereiddy was the closest bay that was sheltered from the wind. The sea was still pretty stirred up though, but the conditions were workable with a good couple of metres of viz. The ground was a mixture of this really cool slate-like sand and dense kelp forests. Ideal habitat to hold lots of marine life. Now, I was seeing lots of marine life like small pollock, wrasse, jellyfish, but I wasn't seeing any bass, which is what we were really after. But with the scenery this good, I didn't mind too much. The cliffs were simply beautiful, so I couldn't help having a closer look. This seal caught me by surprise a little bit, and I didn't want to disturb it, so I backed away. Now, I don't know how they found it, but the guys found this awesome swim through. It looked like a great place for fish to hide, but unfortunately it was empty.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Lovely little swim through.
It's fair to say we got distracted a few times. Time to get back to spearfishing. Still not seeing any bass. Or at least I wasn't.
This is where I saw the big one. Between here and those rocks there. Okay.
On his next dive, Giles manages to shoot a fish. A bit on the small side, but still legal.
I'm not sure. He looks close, doesn't he? Yeah. Getting pretty tired, don't know about you. Yeah, I'm keen to head in. Alright, I'll do a couple more dives and then I'm going to jump on the float and just swim back.
I did a few more dives, checking the kelp forests again and some of the boulders near the cliffs, but after 4 hours of diving, I was getting pretty tired. So I eventually called it a day and headed back in empty-handed.
First fish of the day, 43 centimetres.
After snacking on Giles' tiny fish, we decided to head back out for a couple more dives. So we decided to check out a small cove about a 10-minute walk from our campsite, and the weather just kept getting worse. Conditions underwater weren't much better either, but still we continued to persevere. After not seeing a single bass, I eventually got bored and started looking in holes. Today was just not the day. After having no luck looking in the holes, once again I turned my attention to the scenery and ended up looking in these really cool sea caves. After no longer than 2 hours, we decided to cut our losses and head back in for good, hoping that tomorrow was going to be a better day.
So day 2 of our Pembrokeshire trip. Day 1 was pretty unsuccessful. Giles caught a fish, but nobody else really saw a lot. and the conditions weren't ideal really. So today we're at a different location. We're at a nice beautiful little cove on the south coast of Pembrokeshire. Fingers crossed today we have a bit more success.
Now this is what we'd been hoping for. Conditions couldn't have been better, and we were really excited. So the plan today was to swim out to the end of the bay on the right hand side, hoping to run into a school of bass along the way.
Yeah. Nice.
So we quickly kitted up, eager to see what was waiting for us out there. The sea was much calmer here, visibility was better, and as a result, there was much more fish life. This particular patch was covered with small pollock, and I was lucky enough to even have a close-up encounter with a dogfish. With conditions this good, I was super relaxed and I was having some great dives. And eventually, I finally run into some bass. A bit on the small side, but now that I've found where the bass are, hopefully I'll see some larger fish hiding in this area. Definitely not this guy. After quite some time searching, eventually I get distracted again by the awesome scenery. I did have a look around these cliffs for lobsters, but I didn't find any. I did pick up this pretty cool starfish. And then I finally caught a glimpse of what was waiting out there.
Fuck, that was big.
Just wasn't my day. Unfortunately, that bass just didn't come in close enough. The camera doesn't quite do it justice, but that was the biggest bass I've seen this year. Just my luck, wasn't it? By this point, everyone else had gone back in, but I was determined to get a fish, so I stayed out a little bit longer. In the end, I ended up settling for one of these smaller pollock, around 43 centimetres. After securing a fish, I decided to cut my losses and head back into shore. Also running into the spider crab on the way back in. And that was it for the weekend. Now I think we can agree that this was a pretty unproductive spearfishing trip. But that said, it's not always about the fish, but sometimes more about having great dives, having great company, and enjoying what beautiful coastline our country has to offer.